Hi, welcome to another live streaming of a real estate IQ class. And today we have a really awesome topic. It's about using Bandit Signs to generate real estate leads. This is something I want to learn about as well, as we are kind of learning to kind of utilize more channels for lead generation. And today we have our awesome guests, Rachel and Chris. We just had her speak on our Deal Winners AMA platform about 2 weeks ago, learning about how they win their deals. Their first couple of deals has been obviously Real Estate IQ and also getting Bandit Signs. So really look forward to learning from them on how to use Bandit Signs and generate more leads. I think from a marketing standpoint, what we're looking for is new ways of reaching out to motivate sellers and generate the leads. And then the other part, I would say, and Chris and I were just talking about this backstage, is consistency, just kind of having predictability and consistency in our lead generation. So this is going to be a really good channel to add to your marketing arsenal. And so look forward to that. Now, before I introduce our speakers, I just want to bring up some housekeeping housekeeping items. If you are joining us live on social media platforms, whichever social media platform you're on, make sure you register for this webinar on StreamYard, because after the event, you're gonna receive a link to the recording, so you can review the recording. You can watch this on demand and rewatch it. Usually with great content, I don't just watch it once. I like to watch it several times and take good notes, because I'm talking about how to use it and how to getting to the details of how to implement this in my marketing system. So with that said, I want to welcome Rachel and Chris, our deal winners, to stage. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
So before we start, I want to maybe ask you guys what's new with you, and I also know that you guys are closing a couple of deals this month, so maybe we can start with that, and then we jump into the actual Bandit Signs content.
Yeah, we're working on a couple of deals right now. We're working on some land, acquiring some land and building on it. We're looking at possibly doing 6 townhomes on it. And then we're also looking at a few foreclosures from this past month. So just a few things happened, and had to do a few creative things to give us a little bit more time. So yeah, we're waiting on that to happen. So I'm sure we could go into details about that, because it's very detail oriented in the future of how to be more creative. But yeah, that's what we had to do. So here we are, just waiting for that to all go through, get all of our information, and then get started on those rehabs.
Awesome, fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna pass the stage to you, and have fun. And we're also gonna share some contact information on how to reach Rachel and Chris on our comment section. So you're gonna connect with them afterwards. You have it on the chat window. All right, Rachel and Chris, the stage is yours.
Perfect. Thank you. So we're going to get started. We're going to tell us, of course, a little bit about ourselves. And I think we're using different platforms. So if you see our slides on the left, we apologize in advance. But here we go. So I'm Rachel.
And I'm Chris. Sorry, trying to figure this out. Let's see if we can. Hey, Steve. Okay.
Well, so this is Bandit Signs 101 with Rachel and Chris. And our website is here as well if you want to learn a little bit more about us. So what we're going to go over is our agenda, a little bit about us, who we are, why you can listen to us. If you choose not to, that's okay too. But why we use Bandit Signs, where to place Bandit Signs, samples of Bandit Signs, and also tips and takeaways. Yeah. And if you have any questions, we can obviously answer those as well.
Yep, that's what we're here for. So our expertise, we've been investing since 2018 full-time. We have been real estate coaches for a handful of years, well, a few years already, 2020. We are experts at negotiating, whether that's foreclosures, whether that's owner finance, whether that's any kind of deals. We obviously look through it, make sure that we have two strategies before we close on it and keep moving. So of course, up front, we want to be able to solve people's problems, typically homeowners, foreclosures. We love to build rapport. For those who know us, we always want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and everyone knows what to expect the next steps whenever we are speaking to sellers and even partners.
Yeah, I think that's one of our strong points, I would say, is building rapport. There's been quite a bit of people that have stuck with us when things have not gone as planned. And I mean, obviously, we're very thankful to them. And we've always asked them, hey, why did you give us this opportunity? We're obviously thankful for it, but is there a particular reason? And they always just tell us, hey, you took time to actually listen to me. You took time to let me cry about my situation and not just try out. You tried to help me with it before coming to this last resort. So we find that to be super important. Hopefully, throughout getting to know us, you may find that to be important as well. So
yeah, and some sellers really don't care. Some just want numbers, move forward. What can you do for me? And others really just need to vent. So our job is to listen, right? Be experts at listening to understand what the situation is. And with that, once we are able to acquire the properties, then of course, depending on the exit strategy, we are very comfortable with flips, subject twos, owner financing, hoteling and wholesaling, remodeling from small to large, jobs, new builds, and new developments. And so you'll see here on the lower right-hand side our QR code that is directly to the website. So please scan that and we'll move forward in just a few seconds. All right. Okay, so one question we always like to ask is in on the reply section when in the chat, just if you are an active investor, whether you do flips, rentals, driving for dollars, you're out there, you're grinding every day, you are speaking to sellers, or maybe you're having conversations over the phone, or B, if you're more passive, right? If you have money, maybe you'd like to invest in multifamily, apartments, commercial. C, if you are working on becoming an investor, right? One of the reasons why you're here is that, and others just, you need knowledge, always, always, always. And then for some other friends here, and no matter what you or what we ask, you're not going to answer, right? Almost sounds like Rachel when asked questions and she doesn't answer.
Yeah, but that's me.
Yeah, she loves to ignore me. So yeah, we love to see what where you're at in your journey. So let's continue here. All right. So who is here for the first time, meaning you've maybe never even seen us or known about us, or maybe you're just brand new to Real Estate IQ. Those are, questions we like to ask. So welcome to those who are brand new and welcome to those who are returning. We definitely love to see, new faces, new names, and I say see, right? Whether I can see or not. That's just me.
Well, hopefully there are new people. And if there aren't, I mean, next time we're on, please welcome anybody and everybody. We're always eager to share and very excited when we can reach new people.
Yeah, because no matter your expertise or where you're at, we can always learn new things. We're always personally learning new things all the time. And maybe sometimes the verbiage I use or maybe the strategies that I use may need tweaking. And if I meet someone like Rachel, we share ideas. So definitely always do that.
So quick little disclaimer, I'm sure you all know, but before posting Bandit Signs, please check your local ordinances and regulations for any restrictions. Citations may be issued to you. This presentation is for educational purposes only. So quick tidbit, when we first started, we didn't have money to acquire additional phone numbers. So we just got a quick free Google number and we wrote it on all of our bandit signs. We went, I don't even remember where we bought them from. I don't remember where we bought our first sets of bandit signs, but we hand wrote them and we put our Google number and we just went crazy. Yeah, we just put them up everywhere we could. And yeah, we didn't look at anything. We didn't see if there was bandit signs. We just put them. And for like a week straight, we kept on getting calls from different cities, but of course they were unavailable. So we were answering because we were thinking, hey, they're from our bandit signs. We're gonna get people. So we were answering them, and it was the city. They were super upset with us. So we were just like, oh, we're sorry, we apologize, we're gonna take them down. So we did end up taking them down, but it was the funniest thing because one of them was actually kind of nice to us, and we asked him, oh, how did you get our information? Because he said, I'm going to go to your house right now and I'm going to give you a citation if you don't take them down. And we were just like, it's our Google number. How did you get our information? And then they were like, it's pretty easy.
Google will rat you out. He said Google will give us all the information.
So he did already know where we were at. He knew our address, he knew our full names and everything, and we're like, oh my gosh. So we definitely took those down. So we'll give you a little bit of tips about that coming forward. So why bandit signs? These are our reasons. They work. We feel that any type of marketing is going to work. You just have to be consistent. Like we were saying with Steve right now, just consistency is key. Enough of them and as consistent as you can be. Of course, it all depends on each person, right? Each person has different financial capabilities. So the more you can do them, the more often you can do them, the greater your results. They're not too expensive compared to other things. And you can reach a lot of people. I mean, just think about how many people are at each intersection every single day. There's thousands, probably even more. But I'll just keep it at thousands. Your message is clear. You're letting them know what it is that you want to do. And sometimes that one message could be interpreted by people in other ways. You could, I don't know, say, we buy houses, and somebody thinks, oh, like they have a house to sell to me. So yeah, it could, again, we'll go into that a little bit later on, but your message is clear. You reach a lot of people. You can give several messages probably with one message, and you can market in so many different areas. So we love bandit signs.
All right, sign placement. Now, we will tell you, again, these are our personal experiences. The way to really see if your signs are going to last is whether or not there are other signs in the area, right? So if there are no other signs, you're the first ones, maybe, hopefully you get lucky and no one takes them down. If you see a lot of signs, that could be a good thing because you know that no one takes them down, and you leave them there longer, right? So the longer they can stay out there, that's really the goal. Is if they can stay out there longer, that's what you want, right? In the corner of busy intersections, we all know, driving to work, driving from work, driving to other places, we're at stoplights all the time, right? We're at different sections. Give me a sec here.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. All right. So so we scout the area, right, to make sure there's other signs in the corner of busy intersections. Again, if you're not on your phone and watching videos and TikToks and all of that, if you're watching us, it's okay. Yeah, you can do it. But just they're everywhere. They're at every corner, and no matter where you're at, coming west, east, south, north, doesn't matter. There's bandit signs. You want to make sure they're visible, right? If you have stakes, even better, right? Stake them on the ground and in position. Again, whether you're going east, west, you just want to make sure that you can angle them a certain way in which people can see. Now, if you're taller, if you have poles, you can make little poles that makeshift something to where you can have the bandit sign stick to it, elevate the pole with the bandit sign, and staple them to the light post. So that's really popular. And what that does is it allows for them to stay up a little longer. Okay. So again, placement, don't put it backwards on the other side if traffic's facing one way. I mean, you just have to be smart about it. So be strategic whenever you do that. Now look for other people. If you're unable to put up your signs, look for somebody that you would have to pay to put up the signs. Sometimes those people know the areas, especially if these people do this for a living. They'll know the areas. They know where you should post and or put your bandit signs, and some that say, hey, don't ever do it in this area because city harasses you.
So I would say it's, again, based upon your financial means. It would be really smart to find someone that is hanging up your signs. We have a lot of suggestions from the people that hang up our signs. So that's super cool to us. So they tell us, oh, I have other clients that their signs get taken down in a day. I have other clients that get citations in this neighborhood, or they just give us so much insight that it's incredible. This is a business to share and partner with people and always rely on each other, because you can't do it all by yourself. So this is a good example of that. Look for someone who already does it if you're able to, and they can give you a lot of insight that you never knew was out there. Yeah. So yeah, just be strategic where you put your signs. Obviously, you want to place them to where people can read them, right? You don't want to be at an intersection and then you have them sideways. So just always think about things like that. What would catch your eye if you're looking at something? Have you guys seen those signs that say, why get a sign advertise or something? Does advertising work? And then it says it just did, right? So that's just a perfect example. Bandit signs are a smaller version of the big signs.
Now, I will say, if you have bad penmanship, if you can't read your own writing, don't have someone else write them out for you. And maybe, we always suggest you'll never know how to market or do any of the marketing if you don't do it yourself. Try doing it yourself. And if you have family, friends, cousins, uncles, anyone to help out, right? Maybe you have kids, teenagers, say, hey, put up 10 signs for me today, right? So don't try to do it all by yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, we enjoy it. So these are examples of some of the sizes and some of the costs. So I'm sure you guys can see them. 12 by 18s will run you 100 of them approximately should run you between $100 and $150.
Now, these are just, let's be clear that this all depends on the sites that you go to, the stores that you go to, but from experience, this is typically what they are running. 12 by 18s, you can measure them out. They're typically the normal sizes that you see out in the streets right now. Right.
So if you're going above $150, maybe you can try and negotiate, because yeah. If they're 18 by 24, they're between $150 and $200. Again, the quantity we go by is 100. So again, if you're paying more than this, maybe try and renegotiate. Don't beat up your people too much about the pricing, because obviously we all need each other, but this is a good range to go by. One-sided would mean you just print it on one side. Those are really good for like poles, right? So light posts or anything that you can obviously just see one side. There's no sense in paying double-sided for things that people are just going to only see on one side. And then we have the two-sided, which is exactly what it means. It's printed on both sides. That way, if you put it in an intersection, whether you're going or whether you're coming, you can see it both ways.
Yeah, so just keep in mind also with the one-sided ones, we typically like to do two sides, because on the one side, if you have people out here, and I'm sure you've seen it, on one side you'll see some kind of marketing, whether it's nail, hair salon. Then the other side, someone literally writes their own information and puts up that same sign, right? So just keep in mind that you're out there, you're spending the money, you're spending the time to put those those signs out, the last thing you want is somebody just to use your blank side to put their own advertising.
It's
right?
happened to us.
It happens, yeah. And it happens often, and I'm sure you'll see it as now that you're paying attention to them, right? It always seems as though whenever we go through some kind of training or some kind of presentation and we're out and about, it's like, oh, well, there it is, right? That's what they're talking about. So you don't notice it up front.
We hadn't said it in a while, and it's funny because once we were doing this slide for you guys, these slides for you guys, we were just thinking of everything that we could possibly remind you about, and we remembered that about one-sided signs and so forth. And then we were driving, I don't know where we were driving to, and we noticed where it was a nice factory produced sign on one side, and then on the other side somebody had, I guess, stolen it and wrote their own advertisement on it.
No, not guess, they did steal it. But yeah, we saw a comment earlier. Yeah, so handwritten ones, if they're legible, yeah, they can attract, right? But if you're gonna have a sign, use up the whole space, right? We've seen signs where you write little, right, and it doesn't make any sense. If you wear glasses, how are you gonna see? Or if you can't see, right, how are you going to see a sign that's 20, 30, 50 feet away? So you want to make sure it's legible in large print also. Let's make sure that's clear. If use up the whole space. If it's an 12 by 18, 18 by 24, ensure that whenever you're designing it, that you are using up the whole space.
Right. And don't overcrowd it either. Yes. If it has too many details, people are going to get lost. We always like to talk about when we go to restaurants that have a huge menu, you just kind of get lost in the shuffle. You don't know where to start. You don't know what to order. And sometimes you're like, oh, this doesn't really sound that good anymore. But if the menu is a little bit condensed, they know what they're good at, they know what they do, then it's pretty easy to order. So it's kind of the same thing with the Bandit sign. You know what you do, you know what the key points are, so make that very clear.
And in most cases, you just have a few seconds while someone's passing by. So if it catches their eye, maybe they'll turn around. If it's a lot of too many words and sentences, it won't work out so well.
Yeah. And then, do I need steaks?
Not steak like to eat, right?
We always need steaks.
Okay.
Don't ask our kids; they love steak. But yes, you do need steaks,
unless you're putting them on the pose, right? Utility pose, or
right.
You're able to put them somewhere where it doesn't require them, obviously.
And most of the time, you got to be a little bit tall or create some type of contraption to get it up there. So, unless you're going to be lugging around a ladder with you.
Yeah, you can do that.
But the types of stakes that you can use are obviously wooden stakes, which are cool.
Yeah.
We like the wire stakes.
Yeah, keep in mind with the wooden stakes, I don't know where you live, but if it doesn't rain often and the soil is really hard, right? It's like almost concrete, it's going to be tough. So you have to take a hammer, which is not an issue, right? You should already be carrying that hammer and your stakes and everything else. So just keep in mind of that. So a wooden stakes, obviously, especially if you have one-sided Bandit signs, you just slap it on, nail it, or staple it to the other side, opposite side, and put them out. The wire stakes, I think we're fans of.
Yeah.
I mean, they cost a little more, but they go inside. If any of you have seen the actual, like the thick plastic Bandit size, not the papers also. And the paper, meaning if you can go to, we'll talk about this here in a bit, different places, they sell different types of signs, right? Or sheets that you can cut up into signs. But those wire stakes go straight through in between the hose, through those Bandit signs. And those guys you just stake it and keep moving. And there are different heights as well.
Yeah, what we like about the wire stakes also is sometimes if you have like concrete, right, there's just sidewalks and so forth. If you don't have grass, something easy, you know how the sidewalks have that little crack where, I don't know what it's in the middle, like some type of plastic, it'll go through that as well. So you just have a little bit more flexibility of where you could put them if you do use wire. See different heights for those wire stakes. So you want to go ahead and kind of think ahead and figure what's going to be best for me. What can I afford? We're always talking about what can you afford, right? Because real estate on its own is amazing. You are going to pay money, but we can all do it. It's just what's your budget and how much can you work? How much more can you do? So
yeah, you'll just build your cash, right? So you get a Bandit sign, you get a deal, and save some of that money for
Your marketing.
marketing, right? So whenever we first started, we looked everywhere to buy these signs. We started just at Walmart's, at Home Depots, and we go online as well. So some of the online, websites that you can go to are Uline or Build a Sign, Dirt Cheap Signs, Sign on the Cheap. So right or wrong doesn't matter as long as you start getting some of these signs out there. Now, if they're 10 for $100, then you might want to reconsider where you're buying, right? Local stores, Home Depot, your Lowe's, your Walmarts, any local company that sells marketing material. A lot of these places, Signorama, or you can walk in and say, hey, I need 100 signs, and if you buy from them consistently, most of the time they will give you some kind of discount. So play with it, see where you're at. Some places even have 50% off maybe your first buy, and then if you combine them with the steak, then you can possibly even get a bigger discount. So make sure that you buy everything all at once. Now, if you want to start piecing them out, if you already know where to buy steaks, then you can get them cheaper there, then just find a place for Bandit signs. Typically, we like to buy everything at one place if we can, because time is money. If you're driving back and forth just to save $2-3, you're going to spend that in gas, right?
Yeah, unless you have people that are helping you and they're closer to one place, then of course you do what's best for you. But that's our advice.
Yeah. So what you should do is be consistent with your marketing. Who here has heard that? I'm sure everybody, right?
And what we mean by that is just do it. Like we were saying before, it doesn't matter where you get your signs from. Just start doing it. And in the end, you're going to find like your own rhythm, your own, okay, I like them from here. I like this from here. And just keep doing it. So be consistent with your marketing. Research different areas of the city that have properties you're interested in. So this is where real estate IQ comes into play. You go in and you see there's a ton of foreclosures in whatever city. So you're like, oh, okay, this is probably going to be a great little place or a great area. So you can condense and look up neighborhoods. Oh, okay, this neighborhood seems to have a lot of foreclosures. Guess where you're going to place your signs?
Yeah, everywhere and anywhere. But if you see a certain area with the most foreclosures, put them there, right? Now, whether you think they need your help or not, that's irrelevant, right? The more you go out there and do it, the better. Now, have a planned route. Yeah. We always say, right? It's almost like door knocking.
Yeah,
right.
You just like door knocking. Just figure out where it is that you want to go and put it in your Google map, and try and be as quick and as quick as you can. Yeah. It's time consuming. We're not trying to pretend it's not time consuming. It is time consuming, but it works. So again, if
and maybe for those who have children that want to get away from the kids, it could be kind of your date night, right? So yeah,
we have funny date nights. That's exactly what we do. We'll ask my mom, hey, can you watch the kids for a little while? And we go out and put Bandit signs.
Yeah, but you learn to make it work. As far as how many you should put, you buy 100 at a time. It all depends on you and the time that you have. If you can only put up 20 signs a night, that's fine. So what we do is if we're going to go to a certain area, subdivision, neighborhood, then we can put them on the streets. We can put them in the entrances of subdivisions, depends, and some of those subdivisions won't like it. They'll take them down quickly. If you can only put out 50, make sure that you can put them within a 2-3 square mile area. It just depends on you, right? So don't. And the point we're trying to make here is just do it. If you don't do it, nothing's ever going to happen, right? Just in life, period. If you don't learn to ride a bike, then if you don't practice, you're never going to learn to ride a bike. It's just like everything else. And I know it sounds elementary, but it's really the truth, guys. If you're not doing it, even if you mess it up, who cares? You learn as you go, and then you will perfect it. So while we're talking about what you should do, place the signs out early in the morning or late in the evening. Guys, please don't be those people that are dodging traffic and trying to put out signs at 5 o'clock. Believe me, we haven't seen anyone get hit, thank God, but we've seen some people out there jumping in front of cars. It makes no sense. Okay. And we'll talk about that here in a bit. So
always make sure you're seen. Again, seems like common sense, but I don't know. The saying is not everyone has common sense. That's why it's
common sense isn't so common.
So yes, be seen. Wear something that's reflective or bright, or have like a little light on you or something. The little bracelets that the kids wear, that
especially in the evenings, guys, because people aren't, and now with cell phones and people always on their phones and texting. You don't want to be a statistic, right? You don't want to be those people that person that gets hit, run over or whatnot. So subscribe to, again, we talked about using your personal number, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. Subscribe to Ring Central, CallRail, 800.com, Nexiva. There's different apps, different companies that sell multiple lines that you can use, right? The reason we like that is because you can recycle those numbers. Maybe one of those numbers can be used just for Bandit Signs. If you do 2 or 3 different campaigns with Bandit Signs, maybe you do, I don't know, owner finance with one, you can use that one number for that one Bandit Sign. If you're going to be buying houses, then you're using a different number. So, and those you can use it for 2-3 months and keep moving, right?
Yeah, and you want to put it where a lot of people pass by, right?
Yeah.
So what I said earlier is imagine intersections, how many people pass by there. That's where you want to place them. You don't want to put them somewhere where, maybe you'll get 5 cars a day. So,
and then whenever you are putting out signs, if you can have a driver, even better. But if you have to stop somewhere, we've actually seen someone get their car stolen because they run out of the car with the car engine, running, and they go out, put Bandit signs. By the time they get back, it's gone. The car's gone. So I know we all laugh about it, but it's really, you just have to be careful out there. Just keep in mind whenever you're in the mode, in that zone, sometimes you forget things, right? So let's just, be smart about it, guys. Okay. Okay. So here's what
I think we kind of went over some of these.
But let's just reiterate. Right? We typically don't put signs out in front of business, especially if our signs have nothing to do with the business that you're putting it in front of, right? A lot of those business owners will just take them down.
Or, you can do it if you get their permission.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of asking, and some will say yes, and of course some will say no, and just respect that, because if anything, you're just going to lose your sign right away. So place all your signs in the same area, neighborhood. I would say try and remember where you put your signs, right?
Before we continue, these are things that you're not doing, we just didn't want to put do not, but these are things that you shouldn't do, right? So you can put out signs in the same neighborhood, but these are things that you should not, meaning you don't want to put out 100 in just one area.
Yeah, right? I think what we meant to say is like, don't put like 2 or 3 or 4 like in the same intersection, like spread out the wealth. Do not use foul language. I don't think it would be great for a little kid to be like, "Oh, mommy, daddy, what's that say?" So, watch what you put on it. Do not use your personal phone number. Most people don't even want to share their phone number, so definitely don't put it on a Bandit sign. Do not use your Google number. Again, we already told you what happened to us. They knew everything about us. So don't use your Google number, and do not hire just anyone. We want you to look into possibly getting somebody that does this to be hanging up your signs, but I don't know, interview them a little bit, talk to them. It's not going to be super formal, but you do want to know that they're actually putting up your signs. So, there has been times where, thankfully, it's never happened to us, but we have known of people that it's happened to. They exchange money, give them the signs, and the signs end up in the trash.
And they don't get put out, and you spend 100, 200, whatever you negotiate with them. And so you're already working hard to get these signs and pay for that. And last thing you want is just to pay for someone to hang them up or put them out, and they end up in the trash. So
and then do not put them up during high traffic hours. I need to change that up.
Okay. Yeah, you can use, well, so Google number for business or whatnot, but especially if you are out there, the bandit signs, again, certain neighborhoods don't like it and they will call you and literally harass you. I remember when we first did it, I mean, we had tons of calls and they block their number, and or some will say, hey, well, I'm interested in your house, and they'll try to meet you in person and give you a citation. So guys, just be smart about it. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. One of the questions was if a local number is good. We like local numbers because they know that you're actually there. And even if it's somewhere out of town, I mean, hopefully you have somebody there that's local that can go look at a property. It's always good to have people everywhere that can help you out. So a local number to the area you're putting up your bandit signs would be a good suggestion. I didn't catch the last question.
Oh, it's okay. It said I believe Monish said that you put them out on Fridays. Yeah, that's fine. Put them out the days that you want them to stay out there. And if you put them out on Monday morning, maybe the subdivision cities are more active and they might take them down. So it really depends on, and you guys, once you start learning the neighborhoods, you'll see when you can and can't put them out there. Again, don't place them out there when it's high traffic. Wait till, in the evenings to start putting them out. And guys, again, do not run out in front of moving cars to place your signs. Okay. Mm-hmm. So.
And Mason, you're not getting any leads from it. Sorry. They work. I mean, as I said before, the more consistent you can be, the better. The more you can do it, the better.
And maybe it's just a verbiage. Let's start talking about what you're putting or not putting on. Again, how
attractive it is,
yeah.
Right? I mean, things attract people.
Yeah.
Didn't catch that last one, but okay.
All right. So this is a true case study. These are just points, just quick points of the deal, how it came about, how it closed or whatnot. So we did set up.
So this is an example that bandit signs do work. So we set up bandit signs in an area where we saw a good number of foreclosures. We used real estate IQ, determined, okay, we want to put up bandit signs in this area. So we set out 100 bandit signs saying foreclosure homes for sale. We didn't put we buy houses. We didn't do any of that. For this one, we put foreclosure homes for sale. So that's kind of what I said earlier. People get whatever message they want to get from this. So from this one, instead of thinking, oh, I want to buy a house, he thought, hey, they obviously are able to get houses from foreclosure. So the reason why we did this particular sign is because we wanted end buyers. And buyers are people that you're going to wholesale to, or even people that are really looking for houses. They don't have to be investors, but people that are looking for owner finances or houses or whatever the case may be. What the homeowner got from our message was that we buy foreclosed houses, and that's the situation he was in.
And all he said was, I saw foreclosure and I called, right? They didn't see anything else but that foreclosure word. So again, we talked about you see something catches your eye really quick, foreclosure, okay. Like sometimes people don't even read everything. They just see 1-2 words and then they call you. So this is where you kind of have to tell them, hey, well, this isn't really what I do or what it was intended for, but I have this lead, right? I have this other lead. Yeah, we can always help, even if you can't help up front. Well, let's figure it out, right? Let's try to help them out.
So this homeowner was about a year behind on his payments, and what his story was, his wife had passed. So unfortunately, just with everything he was going through, he lost track of time and he stopped making his payments. So we did meet in person. It's up to you what type of investor you are or you're going to be. Some people choose not to, some people choose to, but we always, as long as we have time, we choose to meet in person and have that discussion and build that rapport. So that's exactly what we did, and we got the contract signed.
We always want them to know who we are also, right? Sometimes, again, different sellers just want numbers. Let me know what you can do for me over the phone. And some really just want to talk. Sometimes they vent. And really, some of these people just have to talk to someone. And they don't know who to talk to. They can't talk to their spouse sometimes. They can't talk to their friends because it's not one of those, hey, how's the game? You know, everybody knows about it. Hey, I'm in foreclosure. My life stinks right now. I mean, it's kind of tough. So sometimes the only outlet they have is kind of just talk to us, because we understand, right? We are the experts, and you guys are the experts. You're out there to help them out. So listen to them.
And we're the problem solvers.
Yes.
We can help solve whatever situation they're in. So after title work came back, there was a few more liens on the property. So our initial thought was something else. So we ended up changing and shifting a little bit. So there wasn't a lot of money on the deal. So we went ahead and took over his payments. After we closed, we needed to sell it immediately. So we went ahead and used Bandit Signs again. So we used Bandit Signs in the same area. But this time we changed our message and we put owner finance available. And yeah, we found our end buyer. It was very quick, very easy. And I don't want to make it seem like it's always going to be quick and easy, but this one was. So it was great. I mean, but you can see we upped the amount of Bandit Signs. We needed it sold immediately. So we upped our Bandit Sign amount, and I mean, we got it fairly quickly. So sometimes if you can afford more, then put out more. It might work a little bit better.
Yeah, just keep in mind when it comes to you looking at a deal, you want to have a few exit strategies, right? And this is where education comes in. It's really important that you don't know how to do just one strategy. You can analyze a deal, and if things don't go well on that deal or that strategy, some people just say, oh, there's nothing I can do about this. I can't help you out. But if you have multiple strategies, it allows you to think and really, advance with that person and contract and your deals, because it's really important, guys, that you have more than one, because that one strategy may not work for everyone and anyone, right? It's just,
yeah, and not only that, but also having someone in your back pocket, like us, looking at it in different perspectives. Hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And having that extra set of eyes and brains on it could change the way you're doing things. Yeah. So that's our little tidbit. And we just wanted to show you a couple of our Bandit Signs. This is when our kids were a little bit younger. And I mean, we have them doing everything we do. So we were writing out our Bandit Signs that night, and they said, I want to help you. I want to help you. So this was them helping us.
Well, this is probably one of mine. I write just like the kids. So this is where Rachel had to take over and say, hey, you're done. But yeah, so it was cute. We were writing out Bandit Signs. And again, we order 100 at a time. If now we order 300. But in this case, we were both writing them out, and then they picked one up and two, and said, okay, well, everybody, it's a family affair here. But
yeah, so they I was writing them in Spanish. This was one of our owner finances. So if you don't know Spanish, it says casa por venta, house for sale, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and then we put up our phone number. So but that's our little babies writing it. These are a few examples of some that you could do. Very easy: cash for your house, foreclosures, bankruptcy, probate, delinquent mortgage. Obviously, put as much as you can to make your message, but at the same time, you want to keep it neat and get the message out there.
And so this is a yellow sign, right? The yellow background is not just for show. It's an actual yellow sign. Those stand out a little more, and it all depends. You just have to play with the colors, right? You can put yellow with blue, yellow with red, yellow with black. But if you have a white background, you can change up the colors as well, and we'll show you those with the next ones. But this one, again, you put your number in the middle, and you're good. Yep, we're good.
We buy houses as is and pay cash. Phone number, pretty easy.
Pretty straightforward, right?
You could use whatever language you speak. If you speak Spanish, great. If you don't, then you could partner with somebody who speaks Spanish. If you want to put out Bandit Signs in Spanish, you can always call us. If you want to do a marketing campaign with us in Spanish. So just partner with somebody or find somebody that speaks Spanish, even if you don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, because it's a whole untapped market, guys. I mean, different languages open up different opportunities.
Oh, we just recently have one of our friends, and she's like, "Hey, I have German in my back pocket, so we're gonna start marketing in German too." So that's another example. We buy houses fast cash, right? Everybody wants cash, so maybe you can emphasize on cash, and then your phone number, make it big, right? Because they want to be able to get a hold of you. The first one, we didn't put a phone number as part of the example, but obviously in the middle is where you would put your phone number. So this is another one: foreclosure homes for sale. Call for your list of homes. So
now again, it all depends on who sees and how they interpret this, right? You can get many different calls from this, or leads, or other people that you know. And of course, the owner finance, the owner finance for the next one as well. I mean, you will have people that want to buy, that want to sell. And all different people will call you, even if you think your message is pretty straightforward. Believe me, they still call. Different people call.
Right. So, and sometimes our message gets mixed up. Sometimes when we put owner financing, then they want to call and sell. Sometimes when we want to buy, they'll do the opposite. Yeah. So,
but it gives us leads, right?
Yeah. So everything works.
Just like our owner finance here, we clearly say what it is, and how much it is to get down, how much down payment. So there's no right or wrong. Just keep in mind, whenever you put out a sign, if it's not clear to them, those are different leads that you guys can still monetize on in the future. Okay. How many deals did? Sorry, we have a question from Alex. How many deals did these get? As far as deals, this one.
I don't even know. I mean, our marketing works. Bandit Signs work. We get a lot from Bandit Signs. Are we the type of people to like literally keep track of everything like that? No.
Yeah.
So, we know it's going well. We always say we're blessed, and yeah, we're here and we're still doing it. So
and that's so, I mean, if we wanted to break it down, if we do put out 100 Bandit Signs, we usually average 50 to 60 calls. From there, if we are getting 50 and 60 calls, maybe we can get 2 or 3 real leads that are real, and maybe even close 2 deals. And so we do, of course, we have to now. I mean, literally, are we out there putting out signs, actively investing, or even marketing? Yes. And we do keep track, of course, but we just don't have that number on the top of our heads. And also with owner finance, just remember, we wanted to give you that. I wanted to give you that also, because owner financing, and every deal is a bit different. But what if you're able to generate $200, $300, $400, $500 for each deal after you close on it, right? Not only are you having the Bandit Signs help you find the leads, but you're able to sell an owner finance house and make $200, $300, $400, $500 a month, right? And that's great for those who may do 2 or 3 deals a year, 2 or 3 deals a month. I mean, can you imagine making an extra $500 just for hanging out? But the kids.
Alex clarified his question. So he was talking about the kids' signs. Oh man, they got so many leads.
Yeah, the kids, whenever they're doing, we give them like 20 just to go out there and write on them. But the kids, yeah, whenever it's funny language or funny penmanship, they do get more, surprisingly, more leads, because someone's like, "Hey, I just saw the sign. What is it about?" Or, "I saw a house for sale." It's really funny. But yeah, and then for our last slide here.
Okay,
sorry, we're trying to read and. All right, I'll see.
They're trying to look for other areas. Oh.
Yeah, so different areas will produce different results, right? Our last slide here is a QR code for our discovery a discovery call.
So basically, if you're liking us, if you like what we have to share, this is just a little bit of what we can help you with, and hopefully you're gaining value from this. And if you need any help in your real estate investing journey, if you're stuck somewhere, if you are stuck maybe with verbiage or how to talk to people or whatever it is, right? We all get caught up in something. We have been doing this for quite some time, and we love what we do. We love sharing our knowledge. And yeah, if you think you need our help in any way, please scan this QR code. It will set up a discovery call with us. See if we can work together. If you like us, if we like you, we want to work with obviously like-minded people who want to be better investors and better people in general. So that's us.
Yeah, no obligations. Not going to cost you anything. Cost you just a bit, some time to see if we're a good fit together. Again, this is one-on-one coaching, not just, hey, let me just give you information. You go figure it out. We talk about the deals. If you have deals, we talk about every strategy, how to get into them, how to get out of them, and all the intricate details. So
yeah, having that extra eyes, that extra brains on your deals and figuring out what to do with them and how to help people. Yeah, that's what we're here
and
for.
I believe we have some students here online as well that we've seen. So yeah, we can certainly chat. So I guess questions, anything else that let me get you fine. The question is, I mean, as far as fines go, so fines, it depends on where you're at. Now, you can go get permits, right? If you want to go ask the city or county or whatever, wherever you're at, go get permits so you can put them out there. Now, whether they give them to you or not is a different story. The fines, depending on how harsh they are. If it's only going to cost me $20, $30, then maybe I'll take that chance anyways, because that $20, $30 fine can get me a $5,000 deal, right? Even if it's $2,500, it just, you have to weigh your options. Again, if you already know that the place that you are going to be putting them out in is pretty harsh with fines, then I don't recommend it. Just find somewhere else to go, guys. Okay. But sometimes it can outweigh the risk, and sometimes it can. I would love to be able to tell you exactly where you can put them out and have zero consequences, but it's a little tough. And people and these ordinances, subdivisions, the little towns or cities that you live in change all the time. Sometimes some months they're very accepting, like, we don't care. And others are just, you're done. We have another question. Blue color ruler is it blue? Oh,
so I think one of the tips that we gave earlier was kind of look around. If you notice, right? So if you're going to start your marketing campaign and you kind of want this one area, and you've passed by before and you've seen bandit signs, and then you pass by in 2-3 days and you still see the same bandit signs, and then you pass by a few days later and you still see those bandit signs, well, then I would assume your bandit signs are going to stay up. They're obviously not taking them down. Chances of them finding you are probably less likely because those bandit signs are still up. So they may be a little bit more lenient. You can call as well just to see if you can or can't put up bandit signs in the area. And the city will tell you yes or no. But then you're kind of opening yourself up to, hey, I'm going to put bandit signs.
What's that saying? It's better to ask for forgiveness
than to ask for permission. But we would say look around.
And rural areas do typically do a little better because it's, especially if you're doing owner finance or something out there, they stay up, the signs do stay up there a little longer because, I mean, not a lot of people, first of all, pass by there. But most of the time, the cities or the little towns are just more lenient with that stuff because they want more people, right? They're banking on people helping each other out as far as home sales go. I mean, they all got to get paid. Someone's got to pay the taxes and everything else, and bring the population, increase the population.
Yeah, so. and sometimes the small cities are the ones that are more strict.
Yeah.
So I mean, what we do is we look around and we kind of vet the area, I guess. See, have Bandit Signs been up for a long time? Have they not? And are they coming down? So you kind of get a good feel for what you see. If you see a lot of them, it's probably okay for you to put yours. If you don't see any at all, then there's a reason why you don't see
or
any.
You could be the first one to start.
And let us know.
So I have so many questions that are not being asked. So I wanted to add some here. And well, first of all, thank you for sharing us this new channel. This could be a very exciting channel, especially based on the number that you said. If we put out 100 signs, we can close 1 to 2 deals.
Yeah.
So and the cost of, I guess I saw like $100, $100 to $200 for 100 signs.
Yes.
Depending on the size they are.
Yeah.
Are those for printing or are they for placement also?
Well, you can buy no, that's just printing. No, placement is separate. Just keep in mind stakes. Those are just for the Bandit signs themselves, right?
Yeah.
Now stakes are extra plus the placements. That's what I'm saying. So if you are able to do it yourself, ask your family, friends to help you out up front, so that way you know exactly what the experience is. Then you can go out and hire somebody.
Yeah. And what would you say like would be a cost like to hire, like what's your someone budget, like the total budget? We can choose to do some of the work too.
Yeah, so it depends on who you ask, but typically you want to spend at least $1 to $1.50 on sign placement. Right now, if someone's charging you $2, $2.50, then that's just way too much. And some of them we've heard, oh, that's a lot of work, and you don't understand. No,
it is a lot of work though.
But we know people who.
Yeah. So I guess there's always room for negotiation, but you also want to be forgiving and understand that it is a lot of work and it is a little bit scary to be in those intersections. And it is a little bit scary to be in some of these neighborhoods in the middle of the night or in the middle of the morning, however you want to look at it. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. We always like to be nice to the people that do work for us or do us, because it's kind of like a favor, right? They're helping you, you're helping them. So there's always room for negotiation, but always try and be nice.
Yeah.
And how do you go about finding like Bandit sign companies that, let's say, they can do it all for you? They print out, put on a stake, and then place them. What would you recommend we do?
Depends on which companies. So what we got references from other investors, Facebook, and then the local stores that you go to typically know the people who are putting out signs. Now online, it's a little more difficult because who are you really going to speak to? And customer service they could be anywhere in the world. So we would recommend that you speak to local companies about that and friends, right? Yeah. Other investors.
Yeah.
It's always good to network with other people. Always good to just know what your options are and talk to one another. And
after you place them, you don't bring them back, right? They're just gonna stay there until like the city takes it away or somebody.
It depends. It depends on you.
So some people like to go back for theirs because they feel it was an investment that they did. I mean, again, it's time consuming. It's time consuming to put them up. It's going to be time consuming to take them down. But the more people can see them, the longer they can stay out there, then the better. When are they going to get picked up? No one really knows, unfortunately. But that's why you kind of want to look for areas where you see them often. You see them not being messed with. They're just kind of left alone. You want those areas.
Yeah, we know a couple of people who put them out, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, and then pick them up on Friday. Or maybe they put them on the weekends, pick them up. It all depends on you. Again, this is where you really have to just to marketing, right? To start tweaking what you do.
I thought the Bandit sign cost is, it's looking like, let's say $2 to print out for the big one and the placement, maybe like $5 per sign. get it all done. Like 100 signs is $500, and I think that's a pretty decent exposure and a okay experiment. Like about $500 to kind of do something and seeing what comes out. Compared to a lot of the other media marketing, like let's say Facebook ads and Google ads, a lot of them are even more expensive.
Even more expensive.
So
Yeah.
I certainly
Yeah, and this one's high traffic, right? You
Yeah.
know you're going to put them in high traffic areas, so you're going to get a lot of hits.
Yeah, and you get the control of the eyeballs. A lot of times, like let's say Facebook ads, like we are experimenting with it. When you try to restrict to an area, the cost goes way up.
Yes, definitely.
And so this one you get a lot more control.
Definitely.
And how often? Like, what would be your frequency, say, for doing this?
I mean,
it kind of depends on what your budget is.
Yeah.
I mean, the more consistent you can be, the better.
Every 2 weeks, if you can do them every other week, right? Twice a month. We always say at least try to touch, certain marketing every 2 weeks if you can, every other week. So start this first week of October, see how it goes this week, next week, and then start putting out for the third or fourth week.
And then another thing is remembering kind of like pinning maybe your locations where you put your bandit signs. So remembering where they're at. So if you have time, or you could ask a family member, hey, can you pass by this intersection? Is my sign still there?
Mm-hmm.
If it's there, then you obviously know you don't have to hit up that intersection again, and you could increase in other places. So it's a little bit of kind of playing around with it, seeing how your signs do. And yeah, just the more you can have out there, the obviously more people are going to see it, the better your chances are. But
and for those who can't do 100 at a time, if you're able to do 20 at a time and be consistent, put 20 out a week, it's all about the consistency, right? We were talking about that earlier. It's all about consistency. Even if it's not perfect the first 2 or 3 weeks, you're getting into the behaviors of marketing, of doing that one marketing. So it has to be consistent.
Yeah, I think a good resource would be, I know that there's a website where you can research, the high traffic streets and roads in your city. I don't have the link right now, but I thought that would be a good resource for everyone. Then I have a cool question. I have maybe a more detailed question. For these placement companies, Rachel and Chris, what would be some interview questions you would ask them when you're like deciding to hire them?
For the sign placement or to order the signs?
The sign placement.
How about both?
Okay.
To kind of maybe execute on that.
Yeah. So first, if I'm going to go to a store and ask them if they do bandit signs, obviously I'm going to ask for certain examples of what they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We've run into some that say, oh, you can only put so many letters and words, and they just want them big. Lines. Yeah, lines or whatnot, I should say. Yes. And some others that are able to tweak it a bit will add more. Sometimes in this case, less is more, right? More is so that way straight to the point. Let's get to the point and have that. But we do ask for examples. We do ask them if they have the average or typical sizes, which most do, and they can be larger, right? So they can be small little guys and big, large bandit size. So it all depends on you and budget, of course. So we do ask for that. And what you can do with most of them and say, hey, this is the design I want. Can you show me how it's going to look once you put it on the sign, right? Now, they won't go print out the sign, but digitally they'll put it on the computer and show it to you. And then with that, we ask, oh, do you work with any other investors, right? Some of these are investor friendly. So they will go ahead and say, hey, well, maybe we work with these groups. They won't give you specific names with groups, right? And you can just always call those people, see what their experience is with them. We've just had some that maybe aren't consistent with price either, consistent with it's $99 for 100, or next week it'll be 120 for 100 signs. So those are the things that you have to be careful of, because people will drive up that price sometimes just out of nowhere.
And with people that hang them up for you, some of the questions that we would ask is, who else have you hung up for? Would you be willing to share that information? Can we speak to them? And I guess you could ask them when they plan on hanging them for you. what their plan is, or if they could go based upon your schedule, right? If you want them hung up on certain days at certain times, then if they agree with that, then great. And I would say you want a route where exactly they put them. So that way you could check that they actually put them up.
Yeah, you want to verify.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We have another question about Bandit Signs or email marketing. I kind of read it as if like which one is more effective in your opinion?
Oh man, I'd love to say there's a secret, Lawrence. I really love to say there's a secret. It's really about. It really is about consistency. So whenever you do both, you have to consider Bandit Signs. Yeah, city might pick them up, they might take them down, but we get more exposure, right? We have high traffic areas. Emailing, you got to consider spam, and if your email's even going to go through, they're cutting down on all of that. We just had a discussion with one of our students earlier. They're cutting down text messages, emailing. I mean, you can spend hundreds of dollars on lists and blast out emails, and you may not ever know if they actually get to the recipient, right? You want to know if I open it up. At least with the Bandit sign in this case, I know for a fact that if I set them out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's thousands of cars that pass by your big intersections, your big main streets. I know I'm going to get that exposure.
Another thing that we like to think of is not everybody likes emails, or not everybody likes Bandit Signs too. So it just kind of depends. So
you got to be flexible.
Whoever is looking for a house, let's say, they're more than likely to look for Bandit Signs that say, hey, we sell houses, or buy a house from us, or owner finance. You're not going to know how to reach those people unless you have already your list of end buyers. So they can both work. Also, people that might be losing their house, maybe they're not really good at sending or receiving emails. So that's one thing that we always keep in mind. Who's receiving this message? Do they check their emails? Do they not? And some people do. I mean, it's convenient too, right? An email is super convenient. It comes up on your phone or comes up on your computer. They can reply to it. They can call you. But at the same time, some people don't open it. So if we had to pick one or the other, honestly, both.
Thank you. Well, I'm sure there are more questions if we stay here longer, but our time is up. We're actually a little bit over. So if you have more questions, feel free to use this comments section. We'll be gathering this after the event also, and we can share. We'll send those to Rachel and Chris. You know, what might be a better option is we invite Rachel and Chris back for another class. Maybe we'll explore some other additional topics. And if you are interested in deep diving into this deeper, we can do that as well. Now, a couple of items is we're going to have a survey question. We would love to hear your feedback on this class and how we can improve and what kind of material we can have. I'm sure Rachel and Chris, as our speaker, they would love to see the feedback also and see how they can improve their talk. Really appreciate you guys for sharing. What's the last thing? Just to reiterate, if you want to receive a recording of this class and you're just watching this live on a social media platform, make sure you register on StreamYard because the system is going to send you a recording of this class.
Yep.
Rachel and Chris, any last words for us?
No, thank you to everyone who joined us.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for the good questions. Yeah. And sorry if we misinterpreted or answered some of them wrong.
They were fantastic. You guys were perfect.
Thanks, Alex, Katie,
right.
and everybody.
Thank you.
So we'll stay in touch, and we look forward to having you back again.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Absolutely.
Bye. You guys. Have a good day.
You too.
You too. Bye.
It's a good day. Have a good day, everybody.